Well, as the festive season approaches, the latest guidelines on the number of drinks you can have in a day and a week have changed. The National Health and Medical Research Council recommends adults should be drinking no more than 10 standard drinks in a week and no more than 4 standard drinks on any one day. Joining me now live is Andrew Wilsmore, the CEO of the Alcohol Beverages Australia. Andrew, good to see you. Thank you for joining me. What do you believe? Is this the right approach that has been recommended?
Well, Australians should have no faith in these drinking guidelines. They've cherry-picked a number for a woman who drinks 3 days a week and given that as advice for all Australians to follow. If they'd been true to the process and hadn't tried to deliberately lower the guidelines, you'd actually show that a man could have up to 20 a week and a woman could have up to 15. That's an increase on the old advice.
So tell us, what was the old advice? Why has it changed now?
They do a reassessment of the risks around alcohol consumption every 9 to 10 years or so. The old advice was 14 a week, 2 a day. So it's a significant decrease on the new advice. And
we're just weeks away now from the festive season. It's probably the time of the year where many of us will probably enjoy a drink or two. Is it curious, the timing of the release of these results?
Well, it's been a long time coming. There's over 3 years, roughly, have been put into the development of them. It does seem rather striking to come at this time of the year, though. The last guidelines, which were 14 a week, were actually surveyed the public as to whether they thought they were realistic or not, and they said no. So if you've lowered them even further by such a magnitude, right ahead of the festive season, they don't stand a lot of chance of getting credibility with Australians.
Some people would be watching this saying, you know, it's a good idea in terms of reducing alcohol-related harm. It lowers the risk on a population-wide level. But so why do you say that we should actually be drinking more?
Oh, we're not saying you should be drinking more. So this actually information sits within the guideline itself. And what it shows is that it does vary between men and women as to how much you can drink and how often, how many occasions in the week. So that's the information we want Australians to have, so that, you know, if you're drinking just once a week and sharing a bottle of wine with your partner, you know what the advice is for you. But if you're someone who enjoys a drink every day, then we think that information should be available as well.
Many of us have been working from home. The pandemic has certainly changed a lot for everybody. Has it also changed our drinking habits?
It has, yeah. Most Australians are drinking less during COVID. All of those occasions in our hospitality venues just have dried up. You know, the footy on the TV, sharing a few beers around the barbecue with your mates, those things just decimated our industry. So at the height of the restrictions, nearly 500,000 jobs in our industry were lost. So we're hoping that we get back on our feet and that 2021 allows us that resilience to get back and employ those Australians again.
So how is the industry looking? You know, for example, New South Wales, we've been open for quite a few months now and restrictions are slowly easing again. What is the outlook for next year?
It is positive after such a challenging time. The biggest issue we've got is the amount of debt that's been built up over this period of time. There's a lot of people who are really on the edge there, and if we have potentially if we have another set of restrictions, then that's going to be the killer blow. So we're going to, fingers crossed, we're a resilient industry and we certainly want to get back to employing Australians again.
Absolutely, fingers crossed. Just finally then, we've got the release of these new guidelines. What would be your advice though to people over the festive season when it does come to drinking?
Well, the good thing is Australians are drinking in moderation. We're at 50-year lows in our per capita consumption. This youngest generation coming through is the most responsible on record. It's quite remarkable, this generation. So we're doing the right thing. Just don't feel guilty about having a drink.
I think that's fair enough. Some good advice ahead of the festive season. Andrew Wilsmore, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
My pleasure.